Hello, welcome to another edition of Capper Comparison Picks. I'm Rance. Today I'll be giving you the early picks for the early prelims for UFC Vegas 56, which is happening. Yep, Spitfire, which is happening Saturday, June 4th. So these are coming out pretty early, but I have enough cappers that they made early picks. So I put together a thing. I like to keep content, somewhat regular even during the break week. But before I get into this card, I want to go over how I did at UFC Vegas 55. I didn't do that bad. I did come out plus money. I'll explain. Started out really bad. I'm not gonna take too long on these. I'm just gonna go over them quickly. I picked Elise Reed. I'll never pick her again. Sam Hughes managed to get the elbows from out in round 3, finish her off. Putting a statement on that. Good for you, Sam Page. Then I picked Felipe Clarsch, but you know what? When I watched the weigh-ins and face-offs, I was like, man, Chase Hooper's starting to thicken up.
Dad,
the dude.
have you been watering my plant?
Yes, go. Feed it. So Chase Hooper, he ended up getting round and pound round 3. I used to think he was just a frail, tall drink of water, but he's starting to beef up a little bit, and I think that move to training with Wonder Boy, Stephen Thompson down in where's that? I don't know, karate. I forget what down in South Carolina. I think that's doing good for him. So Chase Hooper won that. So that's 2 wrongs. Started off with 2 wrongs. Finally, I got Jonathan Martinez by decision. I propped that. And I said, if you look at last week's card, I said he's going to win by using those kicks because Vince Morales has lost before to Chris Gutierrez via leg kicks. And Jonathan Martinez, he loves those kicks. And you know what? I think that absolutely was the case there. Then, moving on, I picked Omar Morales. I thought maybe, Euros Medic. I thought, Anchorage BJJ. I'm not going to take an Alaskan regional scene guy that really hasn't shown anything except for, but he came out and he popped Omar Morales. I should have, in retrospect, 2020, Omar Morales is not as good as I thought. And I figured if Giga Chikaze wasn't going to take him out and, in 3 rounds, neither was Euros Medic, but I was wrong. Euros Medic took him out round 2, TKO or KO, whatever, doesn't matter. Took him out in round 2. Then, like the world, everybody else except for Angelo from We Want Picks, everybody else tipped Gelton Almeida, and they did it within round 1, as did I. However, I picked TKO, unfortunately, and he did it by submission. What are you gonna do? Thankfully, I didn't take TKO. I did. Tapology, I did. Betting wise, I just said within distance, and I parlayed it. But it doesn't matter because Omar Morales blew that parlay up anyway. So whatever. Then I got Joseph Holmes within distance. I prop bet that. I cashed that sucker in because he got a submission round 1 over Alan Amadovsky. I really like seeing James Krause in his corner. I like that he's switched his camp over to Glory MMA. Fantastic move for Joseph Holmes. Then moving on, here's my big payout right here. These 3 all green. That means I hit the parlay. All green. I hit June Young Park by decision. Propped it. Got the prop bet and the parlay with Tabitha Ricci by decision. Propped it. Got that. And finally, I had Chidi Njokuani by knockout, propped it. I did put a little hedge, as you can see. So this was my money maker, this sheet right here. All props paid, and the parlay, the 3-leg parlay with Chidi, Ricci, June Young Park, all paid out. I did put a little hedge bet on Dusko, just in case stuff. But thankfully, Dusko didn't, as I expected, he left his head out to get hit, and that's exactly what Chidi Chitty Bang Bang did. He bang banged on Dusko's head. Then I took Michelle Pajeda. Unfortunately I took him. My prop bet was within distance, and it went to decision. Man, I'll give it to Santiago Ponzinibbio. He made it a lot closer fight than I thought it was going to be. I thought Michelle Pajeda was going to take him out, but he didn't. It went to decision. He won that. Then finally, I lost the main event. I took Holly Holm, and I think she was robbed. I think she should have won that. I hate saying robberies, especially in the main event, but yeah, Vegas had that. Vegas won that because everybody had Holly Holm topping off their parlay. I didn't even hedge bet Ketlin Vera. I should have hedged better because she was the, plus 190 underdog or something like that. I should have hedged better, but I didn't. Anyway, overall, I went 7-4. Not a horrible night. I haven't, to be honest with you guys, this is straight. Honestly, I've only went under 50% once this year, and that was that stupid Columbus, Ohio card, which was horrible, but that was the only time I've dipped under 50%. So I think I'm doing overall good, and like I mentioned, right here, this page is what kept me in the green. I don't know, I don't keep track of units because I do bet basketball, soccer, baseball, hockey, MMA. I can't keep I can't keep track. Plus, I got multiple bet books. I got Bet Online, Bet US, DraftKings Sportsbook, FanDuel Sportsbook, Caesars Sportsbook. I got all sorts of sportsbook. I bet all sorts of sports. I'm a degenerate gambler, but I tell you what, every single one of those, except for Caesars, every single one of them, I'm in the green. I have nice bankrolls on all of them. The most active one that I use the most is my favorite is Bet Online, because even if I travel to different states, I can use Bet Online because that's offshore. Whereas in DraftKings, Caesars, FanDuel, those ones, Point Bet, that's a fantastic one that Mbe turned me on to, and that one I'm doing fantastic. I have yet to hit negative in that ever. The other ones I have reloaded. The FanDuel, I've never had. I put my initial deposit of, I think I put in $200. My initial deposit, they matched it, and I have yet to have to reload PointsBet. I will say that. That one I put my most confident bets in every sport, and plus you can combine sport to parlays, which is I'll take the Rangers and the Mets and freaking Michelle Pajeda. I can do you can do that shit with PointsBet. I love PointsBet. Anyway, sorry to ramble on about my gambling, but I noticed other handicappers, they'll spend a whole 40 minutes just bragging about how they did in the last show. I'm not that type of guy. I don't like to brag so much, If you can fade me, tail me, I really don't care. My picks are free. All I do is ask you to click that like, subscribe, and be active in the comments and tune in on the chat, on the live stream. So let's get into this card. The curtain jerker, the bantamweight fight between Tony Gravely and Johnny Munoz Jr. Johnny Munoz Jr. is the underdog here, plus 121. These odds are from Bet Online as of 5 minutes ago. Not even 5. However, right before I hit record on this. So, we're going to start out talk about the favorite in Tony Gravely. Tony Gravely, phenomenal wrestler. Phenomenal wrestler. I know he's 22-7 as a pro, so he does have 7 losses, but and I think 5 of them are via submission. I'm not saying his BJJ is phenomenal. I'm saying his wrestling is phenomenal. I mean, the dude was All-American, three-time All-American in high school. He won the Virginia State High School Wrestling Championship twice. He stayed undefeated his junior and senior year. He made the All-State team all 4 years throughout his high school career. He went to Magna Vista High School, which is a Magna Vista High School, which is a predominantly, it's known for its wrestling program. The dude's a killer. Yeah, 4-time All-State, 3-time All-American, 2-time state champ. He went to NCAA D1 finals twice. He didn't win, but he did go there twice representing Appalachian State for Tony Gravely. So he definitely has the credentials as a superior wrestler. He's 30 years old. He's taking on Johnny Munoz Jr., 29 years old, only 1 year less. Munoz Jr. only one loss in his pro career. Very interesting. And this dude does have submissions. He is a BJJ. I didn't write it down, but I would imagine, being that he's actually, is he? I think he might. It's American, actually. I think, or he could be Brazilian. I'm not sure. I forgot what his flag is, but I would imagine he's brown. Got to be brown or black belt in jiu-jitsu. But let's talk about, we're still on Tony Gravely, I'm sorry. Let's talk about his last 5 for Tony Gravely. He's coming off a win against Salmon Oliveira by unanimous decision. Before that, he did take a loss to Nate Menes. Nate Menes, common opponent actually. Nate Menes beat Johnny Munoz Jr. Also, that's that one loss right there. But that came to Johnny Munoz Jr. by decision. Whereas in Gravely got knocked out in the second round. However, in the first round, Gravely was, I would give the first round of that fight to Gravely. I think he was pieced him up. Andy might have had a takedown, but came out round 2, and Munoz managed to get the TKO. Before that, Tony Gravely knocked out Anthony Burchak, TKO round 2. He beat, before that, Geraldo de Freitas. That was a split decision, very close one. And before that, he lost to Brett Johns. Brett Johns by rear naked choke in round 3. The thing is, Tony Gravely does have 7 losses, but several of these losses are to prime opponents. Who else? He lost to, man, I didn't write him down, but I remember Patchy Mix. That guy's good. He's a Bellator warrior now. He's in Bellator. I think he's pretty good. Anyway, Gravely, check out his Tapology. His losses, you can't just shuck them aside. They're not against nobodies. They're all good opponents. But he is 3-2 in his last 5, and he is the favorite here at minus 141. Okay, taking on Johnny Munoz Jr. 11-1 Kid Kvembo. I don't know what that means. I don't know where he got his nickname from. I didn't research that. Is coming off a win against Jamie Simmons. That's the Afro Samurai. And if you watch that fight, though, Jamie Simmons was holding his own in round 1. Jamie Simmons was actually putting together some combinations. He's looking pretty. Afro Samurai was looking good in round 1, but then Munoz Jr. got the rear naked choke in round 2. Good for him. But I remember that. I'm like, I thought Jamie Simmons sucks. I thought he sucked. I thought he was a can. I thought he was, a bum, but here he is. He was bringing the show to Johnny Munoz Jr., but then Johnny got the rear naked choke in round 2. Put him in a body bag, Johnny! Anyway, before that, he lost his one loss was his UFC debut, as I mentioned, to Nate Menes by unanimous decision. Prior to that, he was just destroying everybody in KOTC, what that stands for, King of the Cage, which is a Californian regional scene, where his last fight there was against Ian King, where he got rear naked choke round 2. He does love the rear naked choke. Gravely, good wrestler, but protect your neck. I don't know if he can protect his neck. I mean, Gravely's a fantastic wrestler, but wrestling doesn't automatically transition to BJJ, because wrestlers are never exposing their back to the mat. That's just a bad habit. However, BJJ, a lot of shit happens off the mat, and they end up exposing their back to the fighter rather than the mat, and that's where he might be subject to a rear naked choke. I'm just telling how it is, okay? And Johnny Munoz, training out of Sequence Jiu-Jitsu in Norco, California. I think that's, Norco, California. I'm not exactly sure, but I want to say that's like mid-state. I don't know. I'm an East Coast guy. I'm a New Yorker. Anyway, Johnny Munoz does have a 4-inch height and 2-inch reach advantage here. It's going to be a very interesting fight. I would give the striking advantage to Gravely, the wrestling advantage to Gravely, but Munoz, I would give him the BJJ, the slick BJJ advantage, and probably cardio, because I've seen Gravely, he'll come out like a piston in the first 5 minutes, but then after that, his cardio does start to starts to fade a little bit, gas tank problems. But interesting fight. Let's see what the cappers have to say in this one, starting with my friends over at Perfect Parlay Pursuit, Triple P certified. However, that's Luke, Dan, and Alex. And it was supposed to be me too, but I had to, my real job, I had to do, they aired on Monday, and I was supposed to be, they invited me onto the show. I couldn't find time to do it, because after Monday I had to go bid some work. My job takes precedent. The one that pays my bills takes precedent over YouTube. So anyway, but they were without Dan the Batman. It was just Lukey CK and Alex, but they still, Luke, Alex, both still certified that. They're going to do another video. This is an early pick video too. They're going to do another video with Dan and some guests. I forgot. Some guys, some like professional gamblers from Jersey. They're going to do another show next week where they're going to revamp and go over these, at least the main card again, because they preserve the prelims for Patreons only. Patreon. I am one of their Patreon members, just to show my support. Thank you, Luke and Alex, for doing what you do. Then over here, taking Johnny Munoz Jr., we have Soroder MMA Bets, my Brazilian friend. He always puts out his bets pretty early. He didn't say method, but he is going to pick Munoz and bet Munoz. Sometimes his pick and his bet are different, but in this case, he's picking and betting Johnny Munoz Jr. for Soroder MMA Bet. Then back over here, we've got the MMA Jedi. He also known as Justin Jr. He has had some other names in the past, but he'd rather me not mention those names, but he's had like 3 different aliases, I swear to God. But MMA Jedi is on the side of Tony Gravely here. Oh, he punched his monitor after he saw that Holly Holm loss. Very upset, tweeted it, furious about that robbery. He said that cost him $300, that Holly Holm robbery. Eesh. Anyway, then we got taking Johnny Munoz. We have Ray from MMA Pick'ems podcast, and he's saying Johnny Munoz should get the submission. He even called the round 3. Good on you, Ray. I like the method and round, making that a definite. It's already played. He's already the underdog. Now if you got him by submission and you picked round 3, shoot that shit right up to plus, I don't know, probably plus 800 or something ridiculous. But that's very tough to get this method and round. That's very tough. And finally, for the tiebreaker, we've got Bert MMA. This young man, hardest working guy. I am a member of his channel, but man, does he fill up my emails with notifications, because he gives you so many. Too many. It's flooding my emails, Bert. I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to. I want to support you. I'm just gonna start donating, because I can't. You're overwhelming me with all your picks. The members only picks, flooding my emails. It's like YouTube, Bert. I'm like, really, Bert? God bless you. I'm like, you're a hardworking kid and you know your shit, but anyway, Bert is on the side of Gravely by decision. That's a free pick that he put in the video. The links to all these guys will be in the description. I urge you people to check them out, all of them. They wouldn't be on my show if I thought they were crap. Bert, I love you. I think you're a great handicapper, but ease up on the members only stuff. You're flooding my emails. Okay. In this case, I've been back and forth. Like I said, I want to take Tony Gravely. I'm going to take Tony Gravely, but Munoz is good for that rear naked choke. That's where I told you there's the hole in Tony Gravely's wrestling because he's a wrestler, not a jiu-jitsu guy, but hopefully, where's he training out of? ATT, so American Top Team. Hopefully he's been learning how to defend submissions and training that. That is his hole in his game, because stand-up he's good, he can knock people out. I think he's got, as I mentioned, better stand-up than Munoz, better wrestling than Munoz, but Munoz does have that slide wrestling. But I'm going to take Gravely to get it done by decision. And moving on. Next we have Alonzo Menifield taking on No Mercy Askar Mozharov. Menifield does come in here as the favorite, 11-3. He's got much more UFC experience. Where is that? 11-3, same thing. 11-3 with much more experience. He is minus 156 favorite. Mozharov at underdog at plus 136, making his UFC debut for the Ukrainian No Mercy Mozharov. But Mozharov does have more professional fights. They happen to all be over in Russia and Thailand and overseas, but he does have that experience. Let's talk about the favorite first. That's how I like to start it off. Favorites first. And Alonzo Menifield is 34 years old, taking on Mozharov is 27. Little bit of age advantage for No Mercy. Alonzo Menifield will be giving up 3 inches of height to Mozharov. Mozharov's reach unknown. Who knows? He hasn't measured up for that. Alonzo Menifield trains out of Fortis MMA, Dallas, Texas. Represent. He's coming off a loss to William Knight, where I had picked Menifield, and I think that was kind of a robbery too. You can rewatch it. I mean, he lost by unanimous decision, but seriously, I think at the least it should have been split decision. I don't know how every judge gave it to William Knight. I mean, that Alonzo Menifield, I think, won that. That's just me though. I'm not a judge. Whatever. But he took that loss. Before that, he beat Ed Herman. That was a good win, unanimous decision. He Von Flue choked Fabio Charant in round 1. The Water Buffalo, Fabio Charant. That's a great win. Before that, though, he lost to OSP, Oven St. Peru, who is known for a Von Flue choke, but he didn't lose by Von Flue. He lost by overhand left hook in round 2. And before that, he lost to Brown Bear Devin Clark by unanimous decision. So he's 2-3 in his last 5. Not that fantastic for Atomic Alonzo Menifield. But he's taken on a short notice Ukrainian fighter making his UFC debut. He's short notice filling in for Nick Negomarianu. Negomarianu withdrew. I don't know why, but so this guy, Askar Mozharov, jumped in. No Mercy. The dude is very, his stature. He's a big dude, and he looks very intimidating. He got neck tattoo, looking gnarly actually. His last fight was in the Professional Pancration Championships in the Ukraine, the Kratos Cup, where he got, get this, a TKO in 33 seconds, and he was the main eventer against Yevgeny Golub. Before that, he had a 27-second TKO round 1 against Fabrice Digand. Before that, these are all PPC though, Professional Pancration Championships though. Before that, another round 1 knockout. This was like in a minute and something against Konstantin Linik. That's the thing though, these guys are, who are these guys? Prior to that though, he did take a loss to Christian Torres. That was in Titan FC. See, take the guy out of Pancration and put him into different leagues against different people. Christian Torres took care of him in a TKO round 1. So, you got to think. And prior to that, he won a Chinese regional against Alamjan Shadmanov. I have no idea. But I'm just saying, this guy, he's got 7 losses, and one is against Christian Torres, which I've heard his name in Titan FC, but the other losses against people I have no idea. And this guy's beaten nobody I know, not even one. I looked through his thing, whole bunch of Evs and Ovs and Chinese, like Ukrainian and Russian names in there, but nobody I'm familiar with. He trains at AKA Thailand. Now, AKA Thailand, I was checking them out. You're the coach, head coach over there? Quick Mike Swick. Mike Swick was from I think Ultimate Fighter 1 or something. He was I think he was in the very first Ultimate Fighter house with Stephen Bonner and Forrest Griffin. I think, I don't know. He also trains out of a place called Savage Fight Club. That's in Malaysia. But I'm pretty sure, I think his Instagram, he has a picture of him with, I think, Kamza. But I think that was just a pose picture. It wasn't, that was a fluke. It's not like they trained together. But he's training at American Kickboxing Association in Thailand, AKA Thailand. Mike Swick is a big AKA. He was AKA since ever even getting into that. Mike Swick now, old guy, he's 42. He's, obviously done fighting, but he's a hell of a coach, I guess. Mozharov will have the 3-inch height advantage, but that's about it. I think Alonzo Menifield should be well-rounded enough to beat him on the ground and standing up. I don't know, the over-under set of 1.5, and get this, if you think it's going to go over 1.5 rounds plus 185, so the bookies think this is going to be a violence bet. The bookies think this is going to be short. Look at the under 1.5 rounds is minus 225. They think one of these guys is going to knock the other guy out. All right, well, let's see what the cappers have to say about this very interesting fight. Alonzo Atomic Menifield taking on UFC debutant No Mercy Askar Mozharov. Taking the favorite in Alonzo Menifield, we've got Bert. He's saying a KO.
My lips are freezing.
Round 2. What'd you just have, a fudgesicle? Man, you destroy those. How many you had? Yeah, you said 2, but you had those 3 fingers.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we've got taking Askar Mozharov. We've got Schroeder. And that's his pick and his bet. As I said, sometimes he switches, but in this case he's taking the plus money, and that's his pick too. Interesting enough. Then back over here we've got MMA Jedi.
The fudgicles taste good.
Look at the mess you just made. Get a wet wipe out of there. Clean that up. Look at that. Come on. What were you doing? MMA Jedi, and the Jedi thinks Menifield should get a knockout. Nor, you're messing me up.
Sorry.
Well, don't be sorry, just stop.
I can't.
Alright, beat it. Go.
Your cake's falling.
I know, I'm gonna fix it. Then jumping back over here, we've got triple P certified or double P certified Mozharov. As I said, not all 3 guys were there, so Dan and Luke, or Dan wasn't there. Luke and Alex, both on Mozharov, so Mozharov certified. Once again, I would urge you to watch their show next week when Dan does join them. That's when it'll be a true triple P certification. Okay? And usually they don't put out the prelim picks. Usually they reserve that for patrons. Patreon members only. And finally, for the tiebreaker, we got Ray from MMA Pick'ems podcast, and Ray is saying a KO for Alonzo Menifield. Ray from the Pick'ems podcast, and I'm gonna have to go with the capper majority as well. Because Mozharov, as I mentioned, he looks great, but 7 losses, none of them are UFC caliber losses either. and he's beaten nobody that I've ever heard of. He's coming in short notice for Negumarianu. Everything's stacked against him except for he's got size advantage. He's got the youth, and people are fading Menifield recency bias because he lost to William Knight in a very close unanimous decision, but I think could have went Menifield's way. When I judged it, I gave a couple rounds to Menifield. I gave him 2. I gave William Knight round 1. I gave Menifield 2 and 3. What?
What color did you use?
Purple. So my pick here is going to be Atomic Alonzo Menifield. There's another purple in there too. That's new.
This one.
I don't know. Oh, I think Menifield's going to knock this guy out too, or ground and pound, or he might didn't sub him. He does have a submission against Fabio Charon. Fabio, the Water Buffalo, came in hot and heavy, and look what happened to him. And anyway, I'm going to take Menifield by TKO. And might as well go round 1, because that's what the books have it going round 1 as well. So there you have that. Moving on. You have fudgesicle under your bottom lip. Looks like poo. Moving on. Finally, we're at the lightweight fight between Joe Solecki taking on Alex De Silva Lecco. Alex De Silva. I think that's how you say it. Joe Solecki is the favorite here, -170. He's got a professional record of 11-3. Alex De Silva, a professional record of 21-3. Same amount of losses. Alex De Silva pretty much double the amount of wins. Just saying. And he's the underdog. But Joe Solecki, since he's the favorite, we're going to start out with him. He's training out of Tabali says Gym O, and I think there's another gym too listed. I don't know which one he's training out, and to be honest, I didn't check his Instagram, but I do believe he's training out of North Carolina, Gym O. Solecki is coming off a loss to Jared Gordon. Split decision loss. It was close. I scored it for Solecki, and I did lose a little bit of money on him there, but I'm not very salty on it, because Jared Gordon did have a good fight, and I think I could have went his way as well, you know. Before that, he beat Jim Miller, decision. Jim Miller's old, I know, journeyman. Before that, he beat Austin Thud Hubbard by rear naked choke in round 1. Joe Solecki, captain of a submission wrestling team. Remember they had like some submission grappling tournament, I want to say back in maybe February, where he represented the Philadelphia scene. I forgot, maybe, what's it? Oh, you know what it was? It was all these regional scenes. And Joe Solecki was representing CFFC, Cage Fury Fighting Championships. And then there was somebody representing like CES, that's Classic Entertainment Sports, in the Northeast, and somebody there. It was a pretty cool thing, but it wasn't MMA. It was just strictly submission grappling. And anyway, so Joe Solecki, a very good BJJ practitioner. Before Austin Hubbard, he beat Matt Wyman by unanimous decision. That was his UFC debut. And before that, he was in Dana White's Contender Series, where he had a guillotine choke over James Wallace. And prior to Dana White's Contender Series, as I mentioned, a CFFC champion and one of the best regional scenes there is in Cage Fury. He will have a 1-inch height advantage. He is 28 years old.
28.
De Silva is 26. Okay, let's talk about De Silva. Alex De Silva Lecco.
You're 20 years younger.
I'm 20 years older than him.
Oh,
Anyway, I wish if I was 20 years younger than him, I'd be 8. I'd be your age.
like me.
Okay, Alex De Silva's coming off a loss to Brad Rydell. But it's Brad Rydell. Brad Rydell's great. That was a unanimous decision loss, so De Silva held his own there. Before that, he beat Rodrigo Vargas unanimous decision. And before that, he had his one of his losses, his UFC debut to Alexander Yakovlev. Guillotine round 2. And prior to that, he wrestled, or he fought over in Serbian Battle Championships. Aspera, Brave FC. Aspera is a Brazilian scene. Brave FC is like Bahrain and Middle Eastern / Asian and Western European scene. It's weird. Brave FC travels throughout all of Europe, parts of the Middle East and Asia. It's crazy. Alex Silva trains out of the Askar fight team in Brazil. Notable name that's also listed on Tapology, I don't think he's there anymore, is Darren Till. Darren Till, I know Darren Till's like training a lot with Kamzat, buddy with him. But Darren Till is mentioned as one of Astra's, it's listed on Tapology out of Astra fight team in Brazil. So Alex De Silva, despite having the 1-inch height disadvantage, he does have a 2.5-inch reach advantage. 2.5 inches, not much going there. It's only 1.25 inches on each side. Nothing doing. That you can have a glove that thick. Anyway, let's see what the cappers have to say in this very interesting. All of these are very close. There's no capper consensuses on none of these. They're all comes down to a tiebreaker. Interesting enough. But what is that? Pear. Pear. Okay. We've got Schroeder. This is one where his pick is Solecki. However, his bet is De Silva because the plus money, and he thinks De Silva might be able to. It's worth a bet. He thinks he might be able to get the plus money, the underdog victory here. But his pick, contest pick is Joe Solecki. Odd. I know. Check for yourself. For links are in the description. So his pick here, Joe Solecki. Then over here we've got MMA Pick'ems. Ray, what are you doing? Stop. Ray is saying De Silva should get a decision over Joe Solecki. Then we've got Triple P, Perfect Parlay Pursuit. Luke and Alex certifying this. They've had Joe Solecki on the show. Dan usually goes against him, but for real, they're friends with Joe Solecki on Perfect Parlay Pursuit. They've had him on the show. He's a supporter of their channel. Good on them. So, and they're going with their friend Joe Solecki here in this pick. Kind of biased, I think. Then we've got MMA Jedi taking De Silva. He's saying TKO round 1. Wow, Jedi. Straight pooping on Joe Solecki. So he's taking Alex De Silva to get the TKO round 1 over Joe Solecki. That's balls. That's balls. I don't see how that's gonna happen, but all right. Hey, Jedi, you got it, buddy. And finally, for the tiebreaker, we've got Bert, and Bert's going Joe Solecki by submission. Bert knows, he's wise to it, as am I. I'm also taking Joe Solecki, and I think, as I mentioned, he does do these grappling tournaments. He's a very prominent BJJ practitioner. I think his De Silva does have some jiu-jitsu as well. He's Brazilian, training out of Astra Fight Team. They know, Brazilians all know jiu-jitsu. They're born with it. They're like, when you're a toddler, you're starting already learning about guard and doing guillotines, rear naked chokes, all that crap. But I think Joe Solecki, I'm not going to take him by submission, but I am going to take him here. And I think, I mean, he might, I think De Silva will be able to fend off any submission attempts Joe Solecki brings, but Joe Solecki, I think, has better wrestling. As I mentioned earlier in this fight, there is a difference between wrestling and grappling and jiu-jitsu. There's a definite difference. But I'm going to take Joe Solecki with his combination wrestling, jiu-jitsu. Striking, too, I think striking, I would... man, I don't know. I would suppose I could give that to Alex De Silva. He does have 2.5-inch reach advantage. Take that for what it is. But I think this is going to go to a decision. So do the bookies, because over 2.5 rounds, the minus number. So you got to look at the lines too. Just do what makes sense. So I'm taking Joe Solecki by decision to finish this off. So to recap. Nor? Oh, she went upstairs. To recap, time check. Let me see how I'm doing on time. Oh, I'm over 10 minutes. Okay, so to recap, I've got Tony Gravely using his wrestling to get control time and again on the ground. Hopefully doesn't expose his back. I hope he doesn't expose his back. And I think he's going to have better volume striking. But I got Gravely winning over Johnny Munoz Jr. by decision. However, I might hedge Munoz by submission. Might throw that sprinkle on there. He is plus money. But right now my pick is Gravely by decision. Then I parlay that with Menifield. I think Alonzo Menifield's going to win TKO round 1 over Askar Mozharov. And finally, I'm taking Joe Solecki to use a combination of his BJJ and his wrestling to get it done over Alex De Silva. These are, like as I mentioned already, very close fights, but there you have that. I'm going to parlay Menifield, Solecki, Gravely as soon as I'm done doing this video. Put them in a 3-leg parlay. See how that pays out. So there you have it. So gather the info, place your bets, and cash those tickets. I really appreciate you watching. Give me that thumbs up. I appreciate it. This week I might have to do the live stream this week, because next week I'm going to a live event called Cage Titans in Massachusetts, where my friend Shameless Don Shanis, check him out on Tapology, is fighting for the featherweight belt, featherweight championships. I got cage side seats through Don Shanis. God bless you, Don Shanis. Big supporter, Don Shanis. Shameless Don Shanis. Check him out, please do. And he's going to become featherweight champ of Titan, or Cage Titans, and he's already been on Looking for a Fight. He just keeps on fighting people and keeps on winning. Last fight he had was against UFC veteran Corey Pfizer. I think that was his name, Corey Pfizer. Anyway, knocked his ass out. TKO round 2. But anyway, I'm going next weekend. I'm going to attend Cage Titans on Saturday, June 4th. But I'm going a day early, Friday. I might do a live stream out of the hotel room. Who knows? See how it is. But anyway, thanks for watching. I'm sorry about rambling on so much. Man, I just felt like talking today. But good luck on your bets. And if I have enough, I've already started my research. If I have enough cappers to get another 5, if I have 5 more cappers, I'll do another show tomorrow. I've got 2 of the 5 already. I got their picks already in. I did see a couple more came out today. So I think I might be able to gather enough to do a show tomorrow. Tomorrow is Thursday. It'll be later. My wife has class in the evening. But Anyway, thanks for watching. Good luck on your bets, and maybe I'll see you guys tomorrow.